Do you want to watch that?
Nobody knows. Nobody give a shit. Brazil don't care about sports.
Bruh, look at this dude. Wait till you see the. No.
And still the undisputed African fighting podcast champion of the world, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Fighting with Friends. This is the weekend recap show, ladies and gentlemen. With me today, as always, on live streams, the reigning defending undisputed vegan champion of the world, and our chief analyst is, of course, Brother Guy.
Hey, what's up? What's
What's happening, BG?
All good, brother.
Yeah, bro. All good, bro. All good. This is the weekend recap show, bro. And we're going to start with one fight night 34. We did see Regian Eersel do what champions do here, BG. So, yeah, without any further ado, bro, we will start.
At the top of the card. Let's go.
Let's go, bro. We got 10 people in the stream, by the way. Welcome. Let us know your thoughts in the comments about this fight. Drop a like on stream. But yeah, most importantly, let us know your thoughts. We'd be interested to hear them. And yeah, we did see Regian Eersel. I mean, it's nice when you call something, but I did want George Jarvis to put up a bit more of a fight here, bro. But yeah, I called it light the gloves. People forget Regian Eersel finds his chin in 84 seconds, bro. I mean, what more can we say about this guy, bro? I mean, we were talking about it off stream. Is he the greatest fighter on the One Championship roster at the moment?
I mean, his record speaks for itself, right? I mean, the one loss he has against Alexis Nicola was in kickboxing, and that was also an arguable. You know, it wasn't like he really got beaten up in that fight. He got knocked down once in that fight, I think it was, and he also said it wasn't a night where he was at his best, but he still basically, in my opinion, beat Alexis Nicolas in that fight. So in my opinion, he's still undefeated. But 11 and 1 in one championship is a big thing to have. But I mean, that's amongst the elite guys, right? Like Tang, Super League, those kind of fighters. And I just wish he had more competition. You know what I'm trying to say? Like he had a bigger roster to go through in the lightweight division because, you know, with Rotang and Super League, there's a lot of guys in flyweight and bantamweight that they can fight against and fight against consistently. But as soon as you get heavy in that one championship, you start to lose contestants. You start to have more of a I almost said lesser, but you have a sparse amount of fighters to compete against, and that's like what makes him so inactive. But when he does show up on the night, it's like, who can beat this guy? You know what I mean? Alexis was the closest guy to take him out, and it wasn't even. It seemed right in fight number 2 and number 3 where Regian was just going away from him, pulling away from Alexis Nicolas. George Jarvis was that guy to come in as a new thing, as a new breed. I mean, he's done really well since he's been in the One Championship, right? He's powerful. But I think George Jarvis and a lot of the George Jarvis fans, like you mentioned earlier, kind of forgot about what Regian Eersel can do at 4-ounce gloves. I mean, when he was defending the Muay Thai fight, when he was defending the Muay Thai title, that's when he was knocking people out. That's when he was getting most of his finishes, was when he was fighting in 4-ounce gloves. So people kind of forgot about that, I think, because you also look at how he's built. This is like preconceived notion in our minds that people with more muscle tissue are just going to be deadly and devastating, but people with more muscle tend to carry more weight, tend to get faster. So they can also, on the other end, just built like someone that is extremely healthy. And yes, he had one weight cut that wasn't good, but dude, the man can fight. And what I liked about Regian Eersel in this fight, the moment I thought that you could see, he put the pressure on George Jarvis like immediately, and he landed a long, hard, straight right, which had George Jarvis. I mean, there was a jab, sorry, before the right hand dropped him. It was a hard jab, and then moved his head back, and you could immediately see on George Jarvis's face, he was like, okay, what is that? What just touched me? Because what happened after that was the right straight that followed up and it dropped him. You know what I mean? It was like, now what? And on that first knockdown, it kind of looked like George Jarvis was shaking the cobwebs and had a hard time coming back from that first knockdown. Because the second knockdown was like 10, 15 seconds after that. So, yeah, I think Regian also made a statement against that fight because I think a large portion of the fan base of One Championship kind of thought George Jarvis was going to go in there and smash him, but nah, I think Regian Eersel proved to everybody why he's, in my opinion, he's cream of the crop when it comes to the elite of the striking in one championship.
1000% agree there, BG. And we do have 5 people in the stream at the moment. So let us know your thoughts on Regian Eersel as well as George Jarvis. So we have spoken about Regian Eersel a little bit. BG will come back to him and his future in a second. What about George Jarvis, bro? I mean, does the title run now come to a smashing end? Or do you think he makes another run at it?
Yeah, good question. I think he makes another run, Eddie. He's only 25 years old. Unlike Liam Nolan, who left at a very similar age, which I think was talented enough to stay there and maybe even fight for the title as well. I feel like George Jarvis isn't done. He even said himself that he was a little bit surprised by what he was facing, but at the same time, like, you take your knocks and you come back. And like I said, 25 years old, he was on a 4-fight win streak before this. He beat Rungrawee by a 3rd round KO. So, and the division is kind of filling up a little bit. You got Yusuf Assouik. There's Adrian Esparza, one of the top guys of one of our fans. Adrian Esparza, Ricardo Bravo, Nazwet Trujillo, Abu Fassel knocked out Liam Nolan in his debut. So there is a list of fighters that are in the lightweight division that he can go up against. You know what I'm saying? So I think George Jarvis, one would argue he goes back of the line, but I would say what we'll probably get here is George Jarvis versus Adrian Esparza, since he beat Ricardo Bravo, who's also a former champion. Not that he won the championship, but he beat Ricardo Bravo, who was also amongst the guys that Rungrawee beat. So I think Adrian Esparza has pushed himself in a position where he can put his name in the hat now. So you'll probably get George Jarvis versus Adrian Esparza or Abu Fassel. You'll probably go Rungrawee against Regian Eersel. Regian Eersel doesn't get a super fight against Alyshov at 77 kilos. All depends on what one championship does, but I personally feel like leave Shingix Alyshov, even though that's a great fight. He's not contacted on championship anymore, so I think it'll be a bit of a foolish thing to make in terms of progression for the organization that needs to be fluid. So you need to use the fighters that are contacted, ones that are ranked, ones that can grow and push the brand a little bit further. That's my opinion.
Fair play, BG. Let us know in the chat your thoughts once again, Regian Eersel and Georgie Jarvis. But yeah, we were very happy to see once again that Regian Eersel did in fact like our Instagram story, so we're going to get that up for you guys in a second.
For the second time?
Just as proof. Are we up here? There we go.
Yeah.
Just as proof for the second time, Regian Eersel liking our post on Instagram. So if you haven't followed us on Instagram yet, ladies and gentlemen, give us a follow there. Hit the bell. All that shit. But anyway, that's very cool to see as always, bro. But yeah, just getting back to Regian Eersel a little bit. I mean, we're talking about how dominant he's been now as a champion. His record is insane. I mean, who's gonna beat this guy, bro?
It's a very good question. I think it would be nice for the chat also to get involved. Yeah, I see we got 10 people. So if you guys got anybody, any like dream matchups or someone that you know that's in that lightweight Muay Thai division that I haven't mentioned yet, know in the comments there. But like I said, I would probably go Rungrawee just because he hasn't fought him yet. And it's the natural progression. Rungrawee won his fight. It was lightweight Muay Thai. He fought against someone that was largely considered to be a top-ranked opponent because he beat Soner Sen and me for the Regian Eersel twice already, both those fights. So yeah, I feel like the natural progression would be Rungrawee. But I'm saying that with a little bit of hesitancy just because I personally thought that he lost the fight against Assouik. But it's now a win on his record. So if you think about Regian Eersel, he doesn't want to go against Alexis Nicola next again, unless Nicola puts on 4 ounce gloves. Regian doesn't want to fight him again on kickboxing. He's like, nah, it's 3 times and I've beaten significantly in the last 2. So it's like he needs to go back at the line. So Regian Eersel, in my opinion, shouldn't, even though he said he wants the kickboxing title back because it's nice to have 2 belts. Personally, I think that's a guarantee. I think if he fights kickboxing, it's a guarantee for the title. It can only be him and someone else for the vacant title. So until that happens, until they find someone to fight, let him defend the Muay Thai strap because that division is moving. Light Muay Thai division is moving more than light kickboxing. So I will go that way.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment there, PG. But yeah, 7-8 people in the stream at the moment. Let us know your thoughts. Who beats Regian Eersel here, ladies and gentlemen? That is the question. Another dominant performance by the champ over the weekend. And yeah, we should also talk about the co-main event, which was also at Lightweight Muay Thai. I mean, kind of, because you mentioned Rungrawee could be next in line here. Controversial decision, arguably. You can let us know here in chat, ladies and gentlemen, what your thoughts were here. Rungrawee versus Yusuf Assouik. Give us your thoughts on this one, BG.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like a little bit off in terms of how the results were played out, just because I don't know if Rungrawee actually won the fight. I mean, he landed some stuff right on the back foot. There was some elbows he landed. There was some cool left hands. He threw a left body kick a lot of the time. But apart from that, he didn't really make Assouik go backwards. He didn't hurt Assouik. He didn't slow him down. You know what I mean? And Assouik was landing basically a ratio of 3 to 1 in terms of how many times they were landing on each other. So if you go by that math, what you've seen and who's given the pressure, who's successfully providing the pressure, you have to go with the one that's providing it, right? And that was Assouik. He was winning the fight by controlling the space. He was controlling where Rungrawee was going. He was forcing the car crashes. He was forcing the engagements. He was more successful in when he was landing these moments. I don't know. I wish we could get like number stats on the fights, like on the fight day and after for moments like this, because we could really break it down and crunch the numbers. But in my opinion, I think Assouik was more successful in terms of like the overall theme of the fight, of a fight, you know, by landing more and dictating the pace. I don't see how you can score against that, in my opinion. And yeah, even Assouik, when they put his hand up, raised Rungrawee's hand, you could see Assouik was like, "Excuse me." Normally fighters clap when they know they're beaten. You know what I mean? Oh, you got okay, yeah, well done. It was more like the initial reaction was like, okay, yeah, I did not get that win. It's strange. You get the coaches.
Yeah.
It's a strange feeling. It was a weird thing, and I don't know. I would have given it to Assouik purely because he just did more. He did more, AD. And I learned something. I learned something from Dan Thomas and Lorosenko when they were doing they counted the amount of kilometers fighters move in the ring, right? Whether it's the ring or the cage. And the fighter that's in the center of the ring, so the fighter that's on the outside will be the one that will tire first, because the one on the inside is actually dictating the movement by doing this. You go in a smaller circle when you're on the inside, as opposed to the fighter that's on the outside that's having to move into a bigger circle. Whether it's a ring or an octagon, you're moving around in a bigger space. You're attacking more distance. You're eventually going to end up getting more tired because you're using more movement. So Assouik was the one that was not tired. He was the one that was dominating that space, dominating that geography. So the virtue of that is kind of leading the dance already. And then you still have to pair that up with successfully landing more shots. So in my opinion, it was a robbery. But if you got a different opinion in the chat, you know where the comment section is, please let us know. But I thought it was a robbery.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to score it for Rungrawee, like you said, bro. I do agree with you 100% there. I was very shocked when we saw it on stream. I can see you got some reaction video lined up for us. I'm not sure when we were supposed to bring that in. We were supposed to bring that in the beginning.
We're supposed to play it's a team that's got all our reactions. It's got our reactions for Gary Tonon for the Rungrawee and the Eersel fight, but those in the order of Gary Tonon, Rungrawee, and Eersel. Okay,
well, stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We'll play a bit of reaction at the end of the one fight night card before we transition to Friday fights 118. So yeah, stick around for that. Let us know your thoughts in the chat. Was this a controversial decision? How can you score this for Assouik? Let us know, because we have no idea here, bro. We are questioning, are we watching the same fights as the judges? Yeah. Do we not know anything about fights, or what is going on here? Because yeah, there was another decision, the Gasanov decision, which we'll get to in a few minutes. But we're very interested to know your thoughts here, ladies and gentlemen, about this Rungrawee controversial decision. Was it controversial for you? Let us know, and please drop a like on the stream. BG, any final thoughts on this one, bro? As a contest.
Yeah, although as a fight, it was good to watch, bro. Like, let's be real, it wasn't a snooze fest of any way, shape, or form. These guys were going at each other, right? They were putting on a performance because I think they both realized what was at stake. It was a potential title fight afterwards. It was a potential number one contenders match afterwards. Basically, the winners guaranteeing themselves to a higher paycheck fight. Maybe they're closer to that gold. So there was a lot at stake for them in this fight, and that's why we got such a good performance from the two guys. So I definitely think that we're going to see Assouik back again. I think the fight against Clint Mead didn't show his best. Fight here showed really good signs of what Assouik is all about. And even for Rungrawee, the dude still came to bang, and I like that he can fight. I like the way he fights. I just felt that he lost this fight. That's all. I'm not salty in the result that much. I'm just salty in the fact that I just felt like the result made me feel like I wasn't sure what I was watching. And that's how I felt a little bit better there. But in terms of like the performances from the guys, it was phenomenal. And for Rungrawee, like he's up there now, right? In terms of what to get next. You could potentially get the run back with George Jarvis, but I think because George Jarvis lost the title fight, he's going to have to go back a little bit further than that. He won't get the rematch immediately, so he might even get Assouik. They both lost. And for Rungrawee, that win puts him into a position where he can ask out to them for a fight against Eersel now, if Eersel wants to take that.
Because that was my next question, is now Rungrawee versus Regian Eersel. I mean, and it's very difficult for us now to say that Rungrawee wins that fight considering the nature of the victory. Bro? No,
not at all. There's no chance. Assouik was already too tall for Rungrawee, and that's why Rungrawee wasn't really. If you watch Rungrawee when he fought against George Jarvis, for example, even though he lost that fight, he was basically putting on Jarvis for 2 rounds, right? He's more of a forward momentum kind of guy. Assouik had him backfooted the whole fight because he was really struggling with that distance in terms of that height. Rungrawee couldn't really get to the head the way he wanted to. He couldn't. So he really had to blast a lot of body kicks. A lot of this coming off the back. You see in that fight that Rungrawee was having a tough time with someone that's taller than him. He was bothered by that. Regian Eersel isn't that much shorter than Assouik. Regian Eersel is also quite a tall dude. And you can see by the way Regian Eersel fights, he's also got that long arms though. You know, it's beautiful to witness the way he uses it. When you crack George Jarvis with that straight right. It came at such a speed and also from a position where Jarvis was believing that at this distance you can't actually hit me because you're out of range. But Regian was still in range. Because of that, it's a depth perception is kind of weird to pick up with someone like Regian Eersel because of how quick he throws that right hand. Actually, any of his weapons, it's so massive. So I think for that, we will struggle. If you struggle with Assouik, we'll definitely struggle with Regian Eersel.
Yeah, difficult to argue there, BG, but very nicely done once again with your expert analysis. And yeah, let us know in the chat if you are with us. Where are you watching from? And also what your thoughts are here. Do you agree with BG's analysis of the situation? Do you have a different take? Let us know in the chat. But thanks again for clicking on the video more than anything else. BG, any final thoughts here before we move to some featherweight MMA?
Your favorite. No, I just hope that one championship doesn't take long to put like these fights together because these are top ranked fighters. So you want to get them active as much as possible. You know, they're taking damage, but they're not taking like broken arms and stuff like that. So what I'm saying is let's not wait for another year to watch Regian Eersel fight. You know, let's get these guys active.
Yeah, fair play. 9 people with us in the stream. Let us know your thoughts on this one. Was it a controversial win here for Rungrawee? Yeah, I mean, if you can tell us how you scored this fight with Assouik, we'd be very interested to hear it. Speaking of interested in hearing about, this is another controversial decision, bro. Super controversial decision here. We saw Shamil Gasanov win by unanimous decision. Bro. Not split decision, not majority, but unanimous decision. And yeah, just seemingly making no sense here, bro.
Yeah,
I mean, again,
absolutely.
it just makes us question what we're watching and if we're watching the same thing. But yeah, I don't know, bro. at a loss for words for this one. As you guys will probably see if you stick around for some of our reaction from the live stream a bit later. BG, your thoughts here, please.
Yeah, Eddie, you hit the nail on the head there, bro. It left me also feeling like, what am I watching? Because not only you and myself, we also had some people in our live. Shout out to Anonymous Powatan. We had some lads in the live. They were also like, "Are you serious? Like, what did we just watch?" You know what I mean? Because we all kind of thought that Gary Tonon 3-0. You want to give a round to Samuel, you might even go 2-1, but like, what round? What round are you giving him? I couldn't find a round that he won. I thought that you again, just like the Rungrawee fight, he was pretty much on the back foot. He landed a couple of left check hooks, but that was it. He didn't do anything else. He was just on the defense for 15 minutes. Did I woke up? He watched the fight, and he was like, "Oh, Shamil was just running away. He was just trying to run away. He didn't want any of the heat. He was just trying to go backwards and then try and just counter. So." And then defended as much takedowns as possible. Just try and stay safe, but don't get caught in danger. Because I think he was very, very wary of being taken down and getting submitted the way he did in the first round. And that's kind of what we watched in this fight. It was 3 rounds of great Tonon, pushing the envelope, trying to get something out with, throw a couple of strikes here and there, some leg kicks, get into boxing range, but then kind of just get into a takedown and then just try wrestling every single round. And he got the takedown every here and there, a couple of reversals, a couple of 50 positions, but they were all there because of Gary Tonon. That's why they were in that position, because he was the one that was shooting. He was the one that was trying to take the fight into positions where it could favor him, whether it was striking, whether it was grappling. He was the one that was doing it all the time. So then when we saw unanimous decision to Shamil Gasanov, I was like, no flipping way that is real life. No way. In that moment, I felt like we stepped into a different alternate universe, but this is happening at the exact same time. An exact same event, but just different results. That's what it felt like. And I was like, no. What is going on here? So I definitely think that one championship needs to address this result with the reverse the decision. Something needs to happen there, because I don't think that Shamil won the fight. And even when I watched the post-fight interview with Pacatiw, Shamil couldn't really highlight anything in the fight that he did that tipped to his favor. When Nick can ask him, like, how do you feel about the performance? Do you feel like it was a fair decision? He was just like, yeah, no, it was a good fight, and maybe we can do a rematch and whatever. But what did you do? What did you do to win the fight, bro?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if you want it. In my opinion, I feel like I was a blatant robbery again. How Jedi?
Jedi Night. It's Jedi Night. People pay. Because the people pay, bro. But anyway, that's a story for another day. Yeah, it was a weird one, bro. It was and that was now back to back poor judging, absolutely poor judging. And I mean, I just feel like I possibly chalk this down to, bro. Is there something more sinister at play here in terms of the way these guys are giving the results to Gasanov? Because now he's on a 5-fight streak, so are they trying to build him as a fighter? Yeah, like I just kind of want to get your theories on what it could be possible, what we could chalk this down to.
Yeah, it's a good question, and I mean we can sit there and list a number of theories, right? And I don't want to get too conspiratorial about it. But it's really what they one championship is trying to do with him. I personally feel like it's the wrong athlete to use that for. Because if you look at that rankings, right? They don't have Akne who must wait. But like stylistically, and you look at how he fights, that's the kind of guy that they're all scary of. And if one championship is smart, that's the kind of person that should be investing in when it comes to the featherweight MMA. They still leaving Tang Kai there, which means they're probably going to run that fight back with Tang Kai and Akbar Abdullayev, right? And Lee, I think, announced that he's probably going to go to his retirement. So I don't know. They should just keep him there. So that leaves Shamil as number 3. So who else? Who else are they going to bring lightweight MMA guys in to come and compete with the featherweight dudes? Like, what's the situation here? But I don't think that Shamil Gasanov is the dude to go. you could argue because one championship isn't really moving to the US market as they were. They weren't pushing at it the way they were when they had Mighty Mouse, Brenner, and so on and so on. You could argue they're going to move in their brand to the Japanese scene, right? They're probably going to, and they're obviously going to focus a lot more on Asian fighters. That's probably why maybe they didn't give it to Gary Tonon, where he could have been a fighter they could have used to drive an American card. They made him fight for a title. Because I mean, this one is Gary Tonon. He's a big name. He's not someone that's a bit of an unknown. He's a very, very well-known and supported athlete around the world. So they could have done something there with that. So that could also maybe drive the argument that it could be that the ONE FC was saying, listen, this goes to decision, give it to Shamil, no one else. Just give it to Shamil.
Yeah.
But they both were on the streak coming into the fight. I mean, Tonon was on a 4 fight. Gasanov was on he was on a 4 fight. Tonon was on a 3 fight. So both guys could have really put themselves in the position if they won on a streak to say, listen, I'm gonna go up there, give me Tanli next. You know what I'm saying? Give me the top 2 next. That's what they could have done there. Now we're in a position where one championship is pushing for Tankai and Akbar to fight again. So that's locked up. So they're probably gonna have to now run a fight back with Shamil and maybe Ilya Fremenov or Shamil versus Tonon 3, whatever the case may be, because they're gonna have to do a trilogy, but it's now 1-1, right? It should have been 1-1, but that's what they can do next. I just feel like at the moment, I personally just feel like it was a slap in the face.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you alluded to this a little bit on the live stream, but you mentioned stylistically, Gary Tonon is a problem for the upper echelon of this division. You know what I mean? And hasn't been seen before here, so it's a very unfortunate decision. And ladies and gentlemen, all 8 of you watching at the moment, I encourage you to let us know what your thoughts were on this one. How could you possibly score this fight for Gasanov? I don't know. Let us know in the chat your thoughts. BG, any final thoughts from your side on this one, bro?
Yeah, not athlete that they maybe could bring back for this division, but because it seems like it needs another character, right? He's too heavy. I was gonna say Christian Lee, but he's too heavy for this featherweight. So there's not Christian Lee. So no, we leave him out of it. I just think that whatever happens next, the ONE Championship really needs to clamp down on their judging, or it needs to be addressed, because that was something that was so blatant that even when we were on the live, Anonymous Poetan was even saying that he was on Instagram at the time, and there were so many people that was just influxing tagging ONE Championship for that disgrace, because it was just a very bad decision. And like you say, it's very difficult to support or to get into the support for Shamil Gasanov, just purely because his character is kind of boring, to be honest. His fight styles aren't really someone we can get behind. I mean, he gets tied in the 3rd round, fighting against a washed, almost half-retired Martinian. So it's like, you really want to get behind this guy? When you watch people like Akbar Abdullayev, when he fights, he said no again, he missed weight in his last fight. But you watch that guy puts on fights where you think to yourself, who's going to beat this dude? Who's going to be? He fights so well that you and I are talking about putting him in the UFC, comparing to some of the UFC athletes. That's how good of a fighter Akbar is. So, yeah, ONE Championship really needs to do something about that. And again, if they're gonna choose to keep the MMA guys in there, let's get these guys fighting a lot more, not just on a fight night, because it happens once every 2nd month. You know what I mean? Let's get these guys fighting more frequently if you really want to keep the MMA guys on, because then the rankings can move. Rankings can move like this, and people can get behind more athletes. You get to know more names, and we get to support the divisions a little bit more. Now we get these random fights every so now and then. You forget, I forgot this dude was even in this division. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, in my opinion, fix the judging, and have these guys fight more if you're gonna pay for MMA dudes.
Yeah, no, I agree for sure, BG. Because they know the people play, bro. But anyway, bro, I mean, they're all asking pay-per-view for these cards once again. So yeah, they need to sort their roster out. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff we can get into about ONE Championship in terms of finances and things like that, bruh. But this is not really the time and place for that. But if you guys want to get into it and you want us to get into it, let us know in the chat. But yeah, speaking of something we want to see a little bit more of, it's heavyweight, bro, MMA, where we had Ben Tynan here looking thick in them jeans as he came up against Kirill Gushenko, winning by unanimous decision, bro. We were hoping that, with the heavies, we're always hoping for a vicious knockout. Didn't materialize here. But BG, what were your thoughts on this one, bro?
This was the only fight on the fight card, in my opinion, that had a little bit of a snooze fest to it, right? Because both of us were expecting, I'm sure everyone else that was tuning in was expecting a bit of a knockout or just a brutal fight between the two guys, because Shinko's a very good kickboxer. He's got good length, he's got good hands on him and keep people away, right? You got Ben Tynan, who is just this all-American bear, just hugs you and takes you down and just smash, and it's like bloody fights. And so I was hoping that was going to happen, but we didn't get that. And I also felt that Shinko, okay, he won the fight in a fight that was pretty uneventful in terms of what was happening. There wasn't a lot of things happening. Like Ben Tynan was throwing a lot of overhand rights and lefts that were just swatting flies the whole time and getting tired while doing so. And Gushenko, in the long fight, was landing the jabs, landing the jabs here and there, hitting the straight right to the body, throw a calf kick, throw a high kick that's blocked, then make him miss and throw another jab. So by doing all of that the whole time, you're gonna win the fight. Just felt that Gushenko didn't do certain things that could have maybe really gotten Ben Tynan out there. You could see he can't take you down. He tried a few times, he can't take you down. So he's getting more tired as the rounds are going on. Gushenko could have smashed. He's also a lot taller. He's a lot longer than Ben Tynan. And so what he could have done was smash that tip kick a lot. His body was there to be hit, was there to be kicked. If you can get into the void, right, and back down and throw your backhand straight to the body, you've got a lot of time and space to throw a tip kick. That's, what I'm trying to say. That doesn't make sense for you to be able to have all the time to even get into the void, duck and throw it straight right to the body and then get out of position again, and still let the other guys over and right miss. You had all the time to do that, and you could have blasted, and they were open stance. You could have blasted that body kicks, bang, bang. You could have forced Ben Tynan to panic wrestle, really show his cards, then he shows you those targets to finish him. He didn't do any of that nature. He was playing it very safe, played very counter-striking, and won in the fight in a very safe manner. And it made a very boring fight for the fans, in my opinion.
It was a very boring fight, bro. So what does this do, if anything, for the heavyweight division? We got the champion fighting now at 173. Does this really change anything in terms of the landscape of the heavyweight division for you? This win here for Gushenko?
Gushenko, nah, in my opinion, it keeps him in the top 5. It keeps him there. We can potentially challenge for a title again soon. Even on the 173 card against for Rungrawee and Anatoly Malikin. He had the fight against Malikin. Obviously, got beaten by Malikin for that title fight there. So you could argue that since being a former title challenger at 34 years old, this could be his final run. That heavyweight fight was a lot more exciting. And you would argue that the opponent that was on the fight that was on that other heavyweight would rather get the fight in Japan than Gushenko as a backup fighter. Which then leads me to my next point. Just put Takeuchi up against Gushenko in Japan. There you go. They could fight for number 1 contender spot. Because at this stage in the One Championship heavyweight MMA, anyone can fight for it. Not at this point, right? If you had, I thought it was going to be Marcus Puchecha. We found out he's in the UFC. You know what I mean? So, Rungrawee is your champion. So, the way the landscape look of the heavyweight division, anyone can fight anybody. I was going as far as to say that the middleweight guys, which is your Daggies and your Stovich, who's not even there anymore, he left One Championship. Was the other dude that was also there, that Daggies? Anyway, it is name now. You can even move them up and say, listen, guys, we're gonna the light heavyweight division is a bit too high. We don't have enough contenders there. We do have a pool that we can work with in the heavyweight division. You guys are already weighing 225 on fight night, maybe 230. Okay, we can't have the heavyweight. You have to cut any weight. Show up and fight. We make the division even bigger. On heavyweight level, we have more contenders, and then we can start doing like what one used to do, which was called the one Grand Prix. It's pretty much just to basically stack up the division, stack up the top 5, and then we can have one contender after that. So do something like that.
Go
I think
steroids.
at this point, it's desperation for one heavyweight division. Make it happen.
Let's go steroids. Let's go steroids. That's what I want to see in the heavyweight division, bro. More motherfucking steroids. I want to see people get destroyed in the heavyweight division, bro. None of these motherfucking snooze fest. There should be no such thing as a decision fight in the heavyweight division, bro.
Yeah.
Make heavyweights great again, bro. Bring steroids back to the heavyweight division. Or like we've always said in the past, maybe have like a super heavyweight division where steroids are sanctioned. But you can let us know your thoughts in the comments with the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Any final thoughts on the Grichenko one here, BG, before we keep moving along?
Sorry, I lost you there for a second.
Nah, I just was asking if you had any final thoughts on this one, bro.
Yeah, I just don't know what next for Ben Tannen, right? He was out for 12 months due to doping. So he wasn't hurt or anything, so he could still be training, and he came back and he had a performance like that, which in my opinion leaves me with a very salty taste in my mouth. So it's like, I don't know if I want to watch Ben Tannen fight again. Grichenko, he's teetering on that line now for me where I'm like, I might not bind him anymore just because, in my opinion, that fight against Ben Tannen was there for the taking. You know, Grichenko is by far the better striker between the two guys. He's more elite, he has better finishers, he has more experience. Ben was there for the taking. Because stylistically, Ben was like a walking punch, a walking heavy bag for him. And he could have taken it, he didn't. So that makes me go a little bit more wary when I watch him in the future.
Yeah, I think honestly, bro, these jean shorts from Ben Tannen was the highlight of the fight for me. It was just the funniest thing I've ever seen. I've never seen anyone ever try and do that before, and I thought it was hilarious, especially for a heavyweight dude. So shout out to him for that. But that was about as entertaining as this one got for me, bro. Which is unfortunate again, because we do have high expectations of our heavies here fighting with friends. So hopefully better things to come in the future, bro. But we will keep it going to a fight where we did have a finish here. And we saw our boy from the Philippines. Shout out to the Filipinos and the Filipinas. Much respect. You guys always get a lot of support from you. So just another thank you from us here at Fighting with Friends. But unfortunately, your boy falling short here, Philippines. Albek Alyshov getting the job done by a second round sub your BG. So tell us how you saw this one playing out now.
Yeah, remember when we were doing the preview, and even when we were on the live stream, and I was saying I'm a bit concerned for Jeremy in the fight, just purely because if someone's coming into the organization and your debut fight is against a top 5 contender, then you either come into the organization with a massive resume, either a former champion or you were the current champion in that organization where you came from. That's how I felt about Albek. I know nothing about the guy. I didn't know what Albek Alyshov's background was like. I know that he's young. I know that he was undefeated. I know he had a lot of finishes. That's what, but I didn't see him fight before. I was like, okay, what's going to be this dude's style, right? But I did feel that there was going to be a test for Jeremy purely because of that nature of your first two debut fights, a top 5 contender, right? So he must be good. And we saw that. He was super aggressive in round 1. He went hard against Jeremy, lots of wrestling, a lot of sub attempts, just being super aggressive. And then second round, before the first round ended, Albek Alyshov looked like he was getting a little bit tired, and his arms were blown out. And I was like, that don't look good. Jeremy he was fighting. He was like, right, that was the first round. I'm gonna get him in the second round. And I thought, okay, maybe Albek just blasted everything out there, and I got in and dump. But okay, that didn't happen. Second round, he fought takedown, which was a little bit, you could say controversial. But when I watched the replay back, Jeremy was the one that actually grabbed or attempted to grab the ropes when he was being taken down, and that resulted in like a weird landing. And it was like in the inside outside of the ring situation that was going on, which then ultimately let them land into a position where Albek could land the arm triangle, which is what you see on screen. And he choked him out, and that's literally how Albek Alyshov's wins have come before coming to one championship. It was a lot of sub attempts, a lot of sub wins. Sorry, I think it was 18-0, and I think 7 of that wins were sub, or 7 of those wins were finishes, and then of that finishes, it was 6 of them were sub, and one was by TKO or something like that. So my guy, oh no, one was win by unanimous decisions. It wasn't all finishes, but the point is, you successfully finish people with submissions. So yeah, I think Jeremy was in danger here from the get-go, and Albert also looked like he was a lot stronger. Even though he looked like to be the smaller fighter, he looked to be a lot stronger because once they got into wrestling positions, Albert was just more powerful all the time, and Jeremy didn't know how to get away from it. So yeah, great win for Albert Alyshov, and for Jeremy, that's now back-to-back losses. So yeah, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good, and I was very much hopeful that he was going to go in there and show Albert, listen, like he got a taste of the top guys now, so he maybe can take a step back. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he's gonna have to now rethink his strategy in terms of how he progresses from here, in terms of Jeremy Pacatiw now. Albert Alyshov, great first debut performance.
Yeah, so let's talk about Albert Alyshov a little bit, bruh. Like you said, they put him up against quite high caliber competition in terms of the division. I mean, how impressed were you with his performance realistically, bruh? Especially considering the caliber of opponent. Do you think Pacatiw is kind of on his way out here, or was he past his prime? Or... I mean, how much weight does this victory carry for Alyshov?
Quite a bit, because Pacatiw was, before losing to Ogle, he was basically climbing the rankings. He was getting there. He was making a case for championship because he was getting on a good performance, right? He was on a 2-fight streak, close submissions. Then he got Ogle, and Ogle beat him. And then he got this guy who's now someone that's not even in the rankings. That doesn't really look good for Jeremy. I think Jeremy, how old is he now? 29. I don't think that it's done for him just yet. But now he's going to have to really, if he wants to make another title run, he's going to have to really put the head down, maybe even look for a different gym or something, and find a new strategy that's going to get back up into that win streak, right? So you would go and say, Albert Alyshov, I was impressed by the grappling pedigree, but there's a big but. I didn't like how he got depleted at the end of that first round. In the second round, if he didn't get the submission, and there was a lot of grappling, and he had to really fend off Jeremy's defense for the majority of that second round. I don't know if Alyshov would have been the same fighter in the third round. He probably would have lost the fight. He would have lost the fight by getting finished. Because he was showing me signs of someone that fought like with too much excitement. He was all hyped. My debut's here. I'm going to go in here and beat this up by guy, make a statement, give a bonus, and say, listen, I'm here to take over the division. But like you yourself. But he was this close to not getting that, in my opinion. He looked very tired at the end of his first round. It looked like he was like huffing and puffing. Coach said to shake his arms out. They had to bring him out to that, like, listen, you're fine. Still the heart rate down. That worried me. But then you realize, okay, he's only 26 years old, so maybe he can still fix that. You know, there's more room for growth. Jeremy at 29 years old, there isn't that much room left. You know what I mean? He's only got like this. He's about to face the door, the end of the career. Yeah. You know, once you open up the door, you've only got 6 more fights left. He's there now. So it's like he has one more title run left, kind of. With that.
But yeah, thanks for that, PG. Yeah, it looks like we're getting some quite good numbers in the stream this evening, ladies and gentlemen. But not the interaction that we're hoping for. I don't see anyone in the chat yet. But yeah, drop us some chats there. But thanks again for clicking on the video nonetheless. Yeah, so PG, we can move to some more heavyweight in that case, and here we saw Kang G1 get knocked the flip out by Yugo Takeuchi, and this was more, I like it in terms of heavyweights, right? This is exactly what we tune in for when we see this heavyweight fight on the card. I mean, there was an eye poke in the fight that stopped it for quite a bit, but other than that, there was always this kind of anticipation. There was this sense of danger. And once these guys got into the pocket, bro, they just started swinging, and we knew somebody was going down. And that's exactly what happened. And that's exactly what the fuck I'm talking about.
There you go. Really exciting fight, like you mentioned. It was all hype. These guys didn't come to, play and be very clean and be protective and don't take damage, which is a very smart way of fighting. It's obviously what you want to do when you want to in the fight game. Like Mighty Master always says, you want to be a fan favorite, or do you want to still value your life and be around your children when you're a little bit late in your career? So you also have to fight very smart, right? But the two of them didn't do any of that. They went in and they're going to go in there and they're going to throw the best shots they have at each other, and the one who lands first is going to be the one that's going to win the fight. And that's what happened when they got into the pocket. They started swinging, and I think Yuki Takeuchi he's the taller fighter, so he was actually winning the exchanges in the beginning in terms of like letting that jab go and showing that he's dominating the space. And then Kang, I think after the eye poke happened, when they restarted the fight, I think Kang G1 was like, he just put down his mouthpiece and went for the game and started swinging hard. When he was doing that, he left his guard open. It was just like, there was no like, he wasn't trying to cover up and like literally like bring Ryogo into a position like maybe he faked down and faked the shot. Maybe Ryogo would have put his hands down, maybe he would have come down with him, and then you can't put that to something. He didn't do any of that. He just stood there and got into range and we're going to swing. Whereas Takeuchi was a lot cleaner with his strikes. He was even smoother, pulling out, going in, landing a hook, and in that wild, massive blows that were just being thrown. Takeuchi's shots was shorter, cleaner, and landed faster, and that's what got Kang G1 out of there. And unfortunately, to Anonymous Power Town, who threw a bet in this fight, I know I was just saying that Kang G1 was going to win because he's more experienced, and he's a good boxer as well. I think Takeuchi was just being, as the younger fighter, looked to be the fitter fighter as well, and faster. And I think those attributes is what got him the win for me. And again, great performance from him on the night. And he also made a call for being a backup fighter on 173 in November. And because he's Japanese, he's probably going to get that over Grashenko. And that's why I said earlier in the show, do you get Takeuchi versus Grashenko? In Japan, 173, let it happen. I'm going to get in this fight. There you go.
Absolutely agree, bro. Absolutely agree. And I think he probably earned it more here than Grashenko to be the backup fighter for that heavyweight title fight. So yeah, in Japan, let's get Takeuchi as the backup fighter for that title shot. Shout out to Ruk, shout out to Africa. Drop a like on the stream, everybody. Let us know your thoughts in the chat. But now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time.
Yeah.
We go to the return of the uncrowned champion of the bantamweight division. It is Suakim, ladies and gentlemen, who came back. He did the thing. He looked magnificent. He was hittable, I must say, as he always is in his fights. But yeah, end of the day, getting the job done by unanimous decision. Look, I know I spoke about title runs and all of that, but it's early days. This is a bantamweight division which is absolutely stacked to the gills. And as much as my heart wants to say, and I want it to be that way for the streets, that the Suakim title run started on Saturday, I gotta say I'm not quite convinced, PG.
I think we're not giving too much. I don't think we're giving enough respect to Zafir Saik. Let's put it that way. Because Zafir Saik is a contender. He's actually very, very good. And he's also, we just discredit him because he's on a 3-fight losing streak in one championship. So we're taking for granted what Suakim was up against here. Because also, if you look at the performances of Zafir, he lost to Vladimir Kuzmin, Giovanni Stipinan. In both those fights, Zafir was doing really well. Okay, the Stipinan fight, he looked a little offbeat. But against Vladimir, who is a very good striker, he's dangerous as hell. Right? He took him to 3 rounds in a very close fight. And then you get Suakim debut fight, being the smaller guy, coming up in weight against a very, very game opponent in Zafir. We have to give respect to that. So I won't completely agree with you by saying that maybe the title run isn't really on the way just yet. I think it is. I think we have to give a lot of respect to the bantamweight Muay Thai division in one championship. It's an absolute sick division. Let's not forget who the champion is, right? So we have to also understand that the fights for Suakim going forward is going to be very tough for him. The hardest thing that he faced in flyweight was the weight cut. Now he doesn't have to worry about that anymore. The hardest thing he's going to have to face in this division, these guys are going to be taller than him. Right? They're going to be more powerful than him. That's going to be the biggest thing he's going to have to face here. I like the way he fought. I like the way he fought because he's fighting against someone that stylistically should beat him every day of the week. And he went in there and took the fight to Zafir. I think that we have to give all respect to what Suakim did here. Fighting the fight with the broken orbital bone, fighting the fight with the broken nose, and both this happened in round 1 and round 2. And he took the fight to Zafir. I'm repeating that again. He won round 2 and he won round 3 significantly by putting on heavier shots, landing hard jabs, like hard stiff lifts. Badly in round 2 and round 3, while having to face the adversity of not being able to breathe out of his nose and couldn't see out of his left eye. So let's give respect to Suakim. I thought it was a great fight and a great performance from the young man.
Yeah, I think that's very well put, PG. I think a great bit of perspective there. I guess just because of my expectations going into the fight, I was very much expecting finish here. But I think you put things into perspective nicely for me there. What I will though say, and what you did touch on there, is that, like we said, bro, this is the bantamweight division. It's arguably the most stacked division in the entire organization. So it's gonna have to be pretty close to perfect if he's gonna get the title here, bro. And I think for me, it's just because if you consider the types of injuries you mentioned, the orbital, the types of injuries that he came out with that fight, it's just a little bit concerning because that lets us know that he is very hittable. Which, to be fair, he always has been, but I think previously, whenever he has been hit or damaged that badly, he always does come back and get a finish, which kind of has stamped it. Whereas he kind of just got the job done by decision. Not sure if you are still with me, BG.
I can hear you. Sorry, I just dipped there for a second.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, but fantastic performance nonetheless. And at the end of the day, the result was gotten. So on he goes in this bantamweight division now. So yeah, hoping for the best here for our boy Suakim. That fight, of course, was the second fight on the card. We had Shamil Adukhov and Elias Barboza open the card for us. And we saw Elias Barboza get the job done by third round TKO.
Yeah, great performance. Again, a lot like what you were describing with Suakim here. Same thing happened with Barboza. He had to dig deep because he was also battling with the range. He said even in his post-fight interview, he was talking about that it was difficult for him to get into range and to slow his opponent down and get him to stand still, get him to be a stationary target. Battled with that, and you could see in round 2 he was, head was down a lot more, and he was like, "I don't know, I'm going to slow this guy down." I said it in the live stream as well. I said Barboza shouldn't go for his head that much. Don't throw overhand rights. Don't throw hard 1-2s to the face so much. This guy's tall. He's moving a lot. You're gonna have to kick his legs. You're gonna have to hit his body. You're gonna have to make him stop. And Barboza threw a hard body shot in round 2. It slowed down Shamil immediately, and Shamil was like, "Oh!" You could see he started moving a little bit more laterally and faster. Stay away from those body shots. And then when we got to early into round 3, it didn't take much for Barboza to break him down because he was already worn out. Hunted him down, back into the body, bang, 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 and basically Shamil was like, "No, gone." You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think Barboza displayed what? He displayed good patience, and he also displayed a fighter that was brutal. Like he's a devastating boxer, bro. He punches hard. I think he's gonna be a top fighter for that strawweight division. I really think so. I just think that the President Shah was showcasing him weapons that Barboza doesn't use that much. In that is different variations of elbows and clinch work. And the PK Senchai gym trains their fighters to be devastating in the clinch. Barboza said in the first interview that when he was taking shots from Shamil, all he could think about was street fight. He was like, I need to, because he got knocked down in round 1, so he was like, I need to go fuck him up. That's all in his mind. He was like, get back up, and I'm gonna get the knockdown back, smash him, get him out of here. It's also led to Barboza doing the two illegal shots on an opponent that was knocked down, and they had to call him out, and he was like, he apologized to the organization and to the fighter afterwards. And then what he said, what led to that was like, all he could think was, heat of the moment, this guy knocked me down, I need to go in there and then just take him out. That's all he could think was. He just saw red. And although that got him the win, fights against Pajanchai, that will get you a loss. You know what I mean? You show your cards there by doing something like that. So, although he's a devastating striker, he's still very young, and I think he needs to be patient. And I know he called for Pajanchai again. Personally, I think he should basically hang in there. Maybe take a kickboxing fight. Maybe take someone else on in the moment. Maybe take on one of the Al-Jamari brothers. You know, just be patient first, and let Alif and Pajanchai settle it. And then you can go back and claim a shot after that again.
Give thanks, brother Gaia, and that will round out one fight night 34 Eersel versus Jarvis for us. Very nice there, bro. So yeah, before we actually let it go completely, we'll just go to some final thoughts on the card, and then also, as we do, post-fight rating, please, sir.
Yeah, final thoughts on the card. Fun, really fun fights. A lot of good finishes, a lot of good performances from everybody. Apart from the Bentan and Krushenko fight, and also the two robberies from Assouik and Tonon. I started the fight. I think I said it was an 8 on the preview. I think on the night I put it down to 7 for that two robberies and for that performance from Krushenko. So I'll leave it at a 7. But I will hype up Regian Eersel again, just because for me he saved the card. I remember on the live I was saying we need something here. We need something to close off the show. After that, 2 bad performances that we just saw, featured fight and co-main event, so we needed something to happen. And Regian also went in there and he gave us a liquor healthy treat to take home at the end of the night. So I'll leave it at a 7.
Give thanks, PG. Give thanks to Regian Eersel for rounding the show out so nicely for us. Yeah, I mean, overall, it was an entertaining card, bro. Suakim did the thing. I was very happy about that. But like you say, the judging, though, and I think that is, unfortunately, besides the main event, that's kind of what's stealing the headlines for me from this card. So it is unfortunate in that sense, and I don't want to bring the card down a score because of the judging, you know what I mean? I don't think that's fair to the fighters. So yeah, but I think I started at a 7, so I'm going to keep it at a 7. It wasn't really, nothing made me really get out of my seat on the night if I back now and think about it. There was no oh shit moment, you know what I mean? I mean, granted the Regian Eersel knockout, but I mean, was that called it in the preview, bro? You know what I mean? Called it exactly like that. The finest chin early. So it wasn't that surprising, you know what I mean? So let's be honest, an underwhelming 7 here, because one championship usually does deliver the goods. So that is a bit unfortunate, but you know, you win some, you lose some, I guess. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, all 4 of you in the stream, let us know your thoughts about One Fight Night 34 in the chat. We're gonna take a very quick break, 2 minutes, and then we are going to transition to One Friday Fights 118 Soner Sen versus Worapon. So please drop us some thoughts there in the chat if you have any thoughts on this one. We'll be back in just a few minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Gasanov just won that fight. Don't lie. How? That's it, obviously. What the fuck just happened? What the fuck? Bro, that's yeah. That was a bad decision. Bad decision. I don't know what he did to what it had to win.
Yo, so was it unanimous decision?
Yeah, unanimous decision. What the hell?
Bro, we need to have a conversation about the judging in one championship, bro.
Oh my word. Okay, at the end of the fight. Yeah, man, I'm gonna go Assouik. If this is another unanimous decision going to Rungrawee, we're closing the stream right there, gents. What the actual fuck? Here we go again. Make it make sense. I don't even know. I honestly don't know anymore. Honestly though, what did he do that made him win that fight? Like, what did Rungrawee do that was significantly tipping the fight into his favor? He was on the back foot the whole time. He was second best in the exchanges the entire time. His counter-striking didn't stop or deter Yusuf Assouik away from what he was doing, which was forward pressure, momentum, landing, good elbows, good kicks, good body shots. More shots than to Rungrawee one shot every time. Rungrawee throws one shot, Assouik throws four. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Ooh, Eersel clips him. Jarvis took it though. Are we gonna see a round one finish? Ooh, hard body kick for Eersel. It's going to work. Ooh. George Jarvis is looking like, what am I fighting against here? It will add up if he stays, like if he survives the fight. Oh, straight back knocks him down. Let's go. Regian, the Immortal Eersel. Let's see what you got, G-Unit. Oh, front kick. Oh, this is going to be the end. Body shot. Elbow. Oh, another knockdown. This is why the Immortal is the best fighter in the fucking organization. Let's go. Round 1 KO. Fight finish. Done. Don't need anything else. This is why Eersel is the target dogs, bro. George Jarvis came into this fight thinking he was going to get the job done in the third round KO, and I said, not happening. Not going to happen. I've seen George Jarvis fight. I've watched a lot of Regian Eersel, and the leveling fight in the class is not the same. Beautiful, right straight, though. Kick, boom. George Jarvis was seeing ghosts. Oh, beautiful. And another right straight flying knee just misses. He's lucky that knee missed. He was gonna, it would have deleted him from life itself.
Here we go. As promised, ladies and gentlemen, some of the live reaction from the live stream, which was absolutely amazing. Once again, shout out to Pablo for the super chat. Give thanks to you, bro. One time.
Yeah.
It was Pablo, right? Anonymous Potan stayed with us throughout the entire One Fight Night 34 live stream. It was absolutely amazing. Uttam, our main guy from Kolkata, always there for us in the live streams. Give thanks to you, bro. And yeah, just everyone else who joined. Always fantastic to see all of you guys and hear from all of you guys. So yeah, BG, anything you want to say to the subs before we jump into One Friday Fights 118?
Just a lot of love for the love, brother. I mean, that was amazing from Pablo Flota, and just like to see that we have regular audience members now is actually bringing a lot of joy and it's more motivation for me to keep doing this, bro. So yeah, just let's keep growing together, and amped to see the guys. I would have loved to see them here for the recap as well, but I'm sure we'll catch them for the live coming up the week.
Yeah, we gotta consider time differences, bro, because people live in different places, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on who you're talking about. But we'll talk about that another time, ladies and gentlemen. It's One Friday Fights 118. It was Worapon versus Soner Sen. Worapon got the job done here, BG. At the top of the card by unanimous decision.
Yeah.
So yeah, but Worapon, were you impressed with his performance? Yeah, I mean, he got it done against, a mainstay of Friday. I mean, both of these guys are mainstays of Friday
Both of
fight
them.
squads, to be fair. So yeah, what can you tell us here, bro?
The fight almost felt like it was a repeat of the second one. It looked almost identical. The only difference there was no difference. It was exactly the same thing that happened from the second fight. The combinations, pop that jab, throw the hard kicks to the legs, and making Worapon, if you think about that entry, don't want to get caught early because he did get knocked down, I think, in the first or the second fight. But then in round 2 and round 3, what Worapon did was close the distance, get into clinch positions, and let the elbows and knees go. He was doing that so much to the point that it was wearing Soner Sen down. And that's how he won the fight the second time. That's how he did it in the third fight as well. And it closes the chapter for me. I don't think they should fight again because I feel like that will be the same outcome every time. Soner Sen's getting older. Worapon is only 22 years old. He's going to get better. I will add this though. I found out that coming into this third fight, Soner Sen was having a really bad weight cut. I think he felt a little bit sick as well. He almost fainted at the face-offs. So they didn't do any face-offs. And then they came into the fight night and he was looking a little bit jaded. So, not to make an excuse, but Worapon also said he felt that was a big effect in the fight when he did his post-fight interview. He said that he felt Soner Sen wasn't in the fight, but because he made the fight, he was healthy enough to fight. So he fought Soner Sen, and the result was unanimous, and it was a great performance from Worapon. And I feel like both guys have been fighting for a while now, and they should have been contacted already. The fact that they went is a little bit worrisome and a bit strange, in my opinion. But for Worapon, if he keeps fighting the way he's fighting, I think we're going to see him in the bantamweight division very soon. Bantamweight? Yeah, bantamweight.
You rate the
I feel like
Suakim, bro?
nah, I don't think so. I think Suakim beats him.
The Suakim title run has officially begun, ladies and gentlemen. Just to remind you about that. Officially confirmed now by BG. Yeah.
You know who Worapon can fight against next? If they really want to give him a good test, I think they should, by the way. Give him a Kiev Kulazada, bantamweight, or even catchweight. 142 pounds, 143 catchweight. Kiev Kulazada takes on Worapon.
Let us know your thoughts in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. So let us know your thoughts in the chat. But yeah, BG, any final thoughts on this one, bro?
For Soner Sen, I think he shouldn't. Personally, I think he shouldn't be fighting in the 145-pound division. If I'm Soner Sen, I got upper weight. I say, let me go 155. Give me a crack at the featherweight Muay Thai division because he is tall. He matches their range. He matches their height. And all he needs to do is just put on some more muscle. You know what I mean? Then he might see a new era of the Golden Boy. I just think that the weight cuts a bit too much for him, and you can see it, man. You can see it in his last couple of fights. That even though he beat Kamawut, I still think that even in that fight against Kamawut, he was slowing down around 2 and 3. So I would love to see him actually go up a weight class, and you'll probably see a better Soner Sen. And for Worapon, he's not doing the right things, but he's looking phenomenal in his last couple of fights. His weight cuts are looking phenomenal. His body's looking strong. I just think the 145 is a good division for Worapon. So yeah, I think the sky's the limit for the young man.
And you heard it first here, ladies and gentlemen. Drop a like on the stream. Let us know your thoughts in the chat about Worapon and Soner Sen and their futures here. But we'll keep it going, BG. And we had Suksawat come up short, unfortunately, for him against Kongula. By unanimous decision. Another decision victory here on Friday Fights 118. BG, what can you tell us here, bro?
I don't know if it was unanimous. I don't know, because when I remember we were talking to Pablo Frota on the night when this fight was playing out, and the fight that I was trying to tell Pablo on the day before coming, I removed that guy from the parlay. Don't bet on this fight. It's an unknown fight. Don't bet on it. It's gonna be the one that's gonna break the parlay. And it was the exact fight that broke the parlay. and I remember around 3, I thought Saksha was winning at the landing a lot, and Konkula was just being defensive in that third round. I think he won the first round, Konkula. Second round was a bit of the question one, where it's like, who'd you give it to?
Do apologize for the technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen, but I do think BG will be with us
Maybe
in
the
years.
Yo,
Sorry, we just lost you for a second there, brother Gaia. Oops. Yeah, looks like BG's having some technical issues there. But while we are live, ladies and gentlemen, let us know where you are watching from while we wait for the return of brother Gaia. Hope you guys are having just a beautiful day. It is 6:27 here in Cape Town, South Africa. Let us know where you're watching from and what time it is, as I give it back to BG to complete his analysis here of Suakim versus Konkula. BG.
yeah. Again, I'm gonna keep it short for the remainder of this fight card, just purely because it's a fight card, right? And a lot of the athletes on this fight card, it's not many of them that I can really. I mean, it's not many of them that I can give you a lot of detail on in terms of what's going to happen next for them. So I'm going to breeze through it in terms of just going over the performances. So in this one, again, I think, in my opinion, I thought Takeuchi would actually won the fight. Same from my perspective, I think round 2, going into the third round, that's where Takeuchi was doing his best work, being going forward, using his range, landing more shots, being the one that was actually navigating the fight. And he forced Konkula, who won the first round, to be defensive for 2 more rounds. So I thought that he won the fight. But I think, if memory serves me well, I think Pablo was saying that was also a robbery. But again, you win some, you lose some. I think that's just how it goes. Both guys are very young. I think it's gonna be a rematch in the future for sure.
Give thanks, brother Gaia, and yeah, let us know in the chat if you guys have any thoughts. Maybe you know a little bit more about these fighters than myself and brother Gaia. We are very interested to hear your knowledge as well, ladies and gentlemen. Please drop a like on the stream while you are here, and if you want to give a super chat, go on and give a super chat. You know what I mean? But anyway, bro. Chat bit. 500 megabyte line per second, ladies and gentlemen. We need to make that happen so we can get seamless transitions. Beautiful streams here, fighting with friends. BG Chat Pit versus Kawakarat. Kawakarat by unanimous decision. What can you tell us here, bro?
This was a great fight. This was a very good fight, and it was both. I think both of them had the debut, or it was Kawakarat's debut, and he's 19 years old. And the dude fights like he's got hundreds of years of experience. He fights like he's a champion. More impressive fighters on the night for me of this fight card. Chatpet was taller, right? He came into that fight. You could see in round 1 he wanted to be the aggressor. But it didn't take long for Kawakarat to control the fight. Control in the first round already. And he actually had Chatpet rocked in that fight. I think he had 2 knockdowns, or it was 1 knockdown, but he was just dominant. He had landed very much devastating shots from the orthodox, and you could see that Chatpat didn't want to stay in exchange for too long. He was backing up, trying to get his back off the ropes, move away a lot, and every time he wanted to go forward and threw something, Kawakarat threw right and over his jab every time, and be like, bang, back into range, let's go. Backed him up, started to move him backwards. And just fought like a killer, in my opinion. I'm a fan. I want to see Kawakarat fight again. Even Chatpet, he didn't do half bad. Again, let me remind everybody, 140 pounds, right? That is not featherweight in one championship. That is closer to the bantamweight range. So I want to actually see these guys go and make a name for themselves. I don't know if Chatpet's gonna get there. I think that he fought a little bit scared. He realized that the kid can crack and he was faster than him. He fought a little bit hesitant in the fight, and that allowed Kalkarat to control the fight. I could see that Kalkarat sensed that he was in control, and he could sense that Chatpet didn't want any of the heat. So again, go watch the tape back if you haven't watched the fight, ladies and gentlemen. Like Kalkarat was, for me, a standout performer of the night because there was a good fight. There was a lot of good fights on the night in terms of good performances. But Kalkarat's one stayed in my scene go again. The only thing you think that I would maybe put the asterisk on his name is he didn't get the finish because he had Chatpet hurt in round 1 and round 2. He didn't get the finish. He allowed Chatpet to come back in round 3. Chatpet landed some elbows on him in the third round. But overall performance from Kalkarat, top notch. Let's go, kid. Let's go.
Give thanks, brother Guy, once more. Let us know, did that performance by Kalkarat stand out for you as much as it did for brother Gaia? Brother Gaia, Paul Pascual versus Singh victory here at One Friday Fights 118. What can you tell us here, bro?
Great fight again. Unanimous decision, but what I liked about the fight was it was action all the way. There was no one slowed down. There was no moments in the fight where there was a snooze fest where I was gonna go. I told again Pablo on the day, Beton Singh Tanawat, I think he's gonna win the fight by decision. He's gonna be the one that's gonna be able to make Pascal miss. That's what we saw. Pascal was the aggressor. He was the one going forward. He's got really good boxing. I like the way he fights. He was range, the 126 pounds, which I think is the strawweight towards strawweight. Seeing Tanawat a fight of someone that knows how to go backwards. This is a good example of how you can win fights going backwards. Not the way Rungrawee did it. Not the way Rungrawee did it. I liked most about what he did going backwards was he was attacking the obliques and the knees of Pascal. You know, that stomps to the knees and then throwing kicks, but not to the body, but throwing to the groin, throwing to just above the belt. He did that every time Pascal wanted to come forward, and by doing that, it allowed Singh Tanawat to really know what to do next. Because now he's the one that's going forward. He's on the plus momentum because he stopped your move, and now whatever you're gonna rethink and reset, I'm already on my bike here. I'm already moving. I'm already lining up an elbow to counter seat here because I stopped you, which gave me a chance to go forward first. And that's what that was the theme of the fight for 3 rounds. That's why I think the decision was correct. Singh Tanawat winning the fight. You could see in round 3 he slowed down. He was getting a little bit scared there because Pascal started to get to him, land some elbows, and go into the clinch position. But I just think that was in terms of being the what's it? The to the bull. I thought if Singh Tanawat had to fight first, he probably would have got knocked out. So he fought a really good and smart fight.
Thank you, brother Guy. Once again, some really great detailed analysis about how that one played out there, ladies and gentlemen. Drop a like on the stream there for brother Guy. And absolutely flying through Friday fights here. Got the Malaysian Riftin Mastor beat Bernie Wang by majority decision. So close fight here, BG. Majority decision in the
Yeah, definitely. I would say it's definitely a correct decision. I think Riftin, again, amazing fight. This was a fight that was most hyped for the fight card, to be honest with, more than the main event. Just because I think the atomweight in getting top contenders, great athletes, the other question is in there. It's starting to develop. You can really see the One Championship is starting to really carefully put this division together now that they can see a potential champion in the division. That's also why you see this like Riftin and Ben Wang and Pet and these guys fighting a lot more. Last week we had TI, hands, and we can fight for a belt. Not just have atomweight guys fight for what? You know what I mean? Now they can go for a title. So I think that's amazing. in this fight, Bernard Wang, we saw his debut, and I went nuts for his debut when he knocked out, who was it, with a kick to the face, bang! I was like, oh, who's this kid? He fights well.
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask you, is that the same guy?
Yes,
That's
the same guy.
guy.
He was knocked out Chatai with that kick to the face. So I thought he was in the comments this fight aggressive, but I think Riftin showed him that he was the more powerful fighter, had heavier hands, and he had Beno Wang knocked down in that first round, and you could see he asserted his dominance over the first 2 rounds by throwing down and getting him into the pocket and letting his hands go and just being the better, more experienced athlete, right? But I'm gonna say a big but. Beno Wang came back and he put it on Riftin. Riftin went to work so hard out of there. Couldn't get him out of there. Then he basically watched Riftin for the third round. Be defensive. Run away. Don't force the exchange. Just try and counter strike. Stay defensively sound. Don't give yourself away so you can get knocked out. He was doing a lot of that in the third round, which in my opinion lost in the third round. And that's why we saw a majority decision. We will see these guys go at it again. I think so. We're going to see Beno Wang be a problem for the division because not only is he phenomenal and he's fast and he's young, but he's also tall for atomweight. So either he's going to stay atomweight or we're going to see him move up to strawweight, but he's going to be a top talent for the division as well. So fun fighters to watch for that division. Well done to Riftin. Well done to both guys, actually.
Give thanks, brother guy, and yeah, Bernard Wang definitely want to keep an eye out for. I missed that, but unfortunately, I didn't see much of this card, as you know. But yeah, I can definitely confirm that Bernard Wang on his night can be absolutely electric. One atomweight Muay Thai fight down the card, BG. So yeah, finishes seem to be a bit on the scare side here further up the card. And I think, yeah, I mean, on the card as a whole, not really. I mean, I would say 50-50, but definitely less finishes than we used to seeing on a Friday Fight Squad. So much appreciated for this one, BG. What can you tell us about Pet versus Pet Hanwha, bro?
Dude, I said it all week. I said it in the preview on the fight night. I told the lads that were in the chat, I said, bet on this one. I think Pet's gonna. Remember when someone said, give me a sure bet? I said, this is the one you must bet on. I have a feeling Pet's gonna go in there and knock him out, and that's exactly what he did. Another guy at 19 years old fights like he's got all the experience, like he's been a champion for years, and the power on Pet in the division that there's a lot of small dudes. You ask yourself, where's it come from? Because he's got this, like how he doesn't really show any sort of what's the word? He doesn't retaliate immediately when someone's coming at him. I was trying to be active and pop out the jab and throw a high kick and keep his hands on the just hunting you down for that one shot, right? But what makes Pet so dangerous is he's gonna come into you with a one shot kill kind of approach. But, and this is the big but, he doesn't telegraph any of those shots. And Pet was throwing hard body kicks in this fight, which is something you see new to his game. Normally he just throws a lot of punches, but he was kicking a lot in the first round, just conditioning Pet Hanwha. You know what I mean? It's making Pet Hanwha think, okay, he's kicking me a lot. Let me throw the high knee up with a high guard to protect my body. So watch out for the leg kicks. And if a god Pet can actually box, that's his best weapon. So I thought it was a good game plan from Pet. Do that. Because then once the second round started, it took long to get the knockout. He walked him down and just threw the right hand. That's all. My bonus. Let's go. Fun fight to watch. He's going to be an athlete that will be a good name to dethrone someone like Naraka Yoshinari or to rival him. I know that we are hyping up Song Chun-Wei to be the guy because they have fought before and went 3 rounds. And at the end of that third round, Naraka knocked him out. Then we're all asking for Song Chun-Wei to fight him again in one championship. Song Chun-Wei will also been knocking people out for a while now at the division. But now that Pet is here, Pet just looks like a more modified version of Song Chun-Wei. He fights the same way, composed, he's very smart, and doesn't he's not reactive when he gets hit. You know what I mean? When Pet gets hit, he doesn't like, oh, okay, let me chase it down and get my knockdown back. He just takes the punch and he just watches his target the whole time. He watches you and sees your movement and he's like, nah, you're gonna show me your hand and then I'm gonna attack you. That's how Pet fights, and I love it. And I think that he's one to watch for the future.
Again, really nicely done there, BG. BG working overtime, at Fighting with Friends. Really great stuff today, BG, on top form, on the live stream. Drop a like there, BG is super. Need to update that internet connection. But we can go to some bantamweight Muay Thai, BG. Otis Wagon getting the job done by split decision against Hakim Ba. Stacked division in the entire organization. So, any prospects that you saw in this one, bro?
Yeah, both of them. I think both of them are really good. Both guys are not actually bantamweights. They're massive. They tower over all the dudes in the bantamweight division. Hakim Ba is a former champion outside of one championship. I thought he fought well. I thought he won the first round. He had Otis knocked down badly hurt in that first round. Otis had to do a lot of work to come back. And I think what Otis did was he threw a lot of kicks. Threw a hell of a lot of kicks. And what I asked for, anyone in live, I'm not sure if you remember that I said Otis needs to throw a right hand every time Hakim jabs. Because Hakim is jabbing, but he's jabbing to fake out something from Otis. He's jabbing and he's either jabbing and going forward, like he jabs and like darts to his left outside of Otis's attacking range. Or he throws a jab and then ducks and pulls back. That's what a low kick and a one. He's not coming like he was just jabbing to kind of fish commitment from Otis to land over and right. That's what he was doing the whole time. But Otis needed to keep his guard up, and every time Hakim jabs, just throw a hard straight line down the pipe. Jab, hard straight like every single time. He started doing that in the second round, which then forced Hakim to do something else. Now you must change your strategy, bro. I got your pattern, and I'm gonna move you every time you do it. And that's what Otis was doing a lot in that second round, which then got into the third round. Otis was now blasting the kicks because now he knows he's got the range, he's got the counter for the jab. What else are you gonna do, Hakim? Hakim didn't have a second. He didn't have a plan B. He did not have a plan B, and that's why Otis won the fight decision. I did say on the day, I was like, Hakim won, but I rethought about it, and I was like, you know what? Otis did what I thought he should have done to win the fight, and he did that. He just knocked down in the first round. He did say in the post-fight interview that he didn't like that he performed that way, but he still won the fight in a bad performance against a top fighter that is a champion, essentially. So I think both guys can become something for the bantamweight division because they're both very tall as well. They tower, other than Nabil and their problem, as long as they can make the weight cut every time, there will be a problem for that division.
Thank you, brother Gaia, once again. Thank you. Drop a like on the stream there, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know some thoughts in the chat. We'll go to a guy who is apparently from Hong Kong, China, and Scotland. It's Logan Chan, who got the job done by first round knockout against the Super One training champion, BG, taking the Super One training champs title here. So now Logan Chan, Super One training champ. Let's go. What can you say?
I think it wasn't a long fight in terms of like it didn't go over the span of a few rounds where I can see some strategy. I think Logan Chan used his size and power, and he had Super One fight and very scared. Even though Logan Chan was saying that he was very skeptical of entering as consistent as he wanted to because Super One was elbow counter, which was a smart move from Chama. But Chama looked like he was a division below. At least Logan looked like he was a division above. He was significantly bigger, longer, stronger, faster than Chama in every way. And Chama's eyes were like this the whole fight, and he was like, you know what I mean? He did it. When Chama fought against Super Jeng, he looked different. Chama was smiling. He looked like he was like, relaxed and composed, and he was like, I'm in this fight. But against Logan Chan, he looked scared. He looked a little bit frightened and a little bit hesitant, and that's, as we always say, if you hesitate, you're probably going to get it wrong. So, especially in a fight in that regard, I think there was a line that we wrote once in one of our scripts where we said, there's that moment when he hesitated and then realized that everything was wrong. So, if you hesitate, you're probably going to miss the shot in the fight. So, Chama was fighting a bit too hesitant, and that's what made Logan realize he's a deer in headlights. Hit him every single time. So, yeah, Logan, one performance, he had the kill shot there, he had the box, he got the knockout, out to the body licker with his left hooks to the body, and he used his reach really well, and he's a fun fighter. I just didn't like that it was, the weight discrepancy was that much. Just in terms of performance, well done, Logan.
Thanks, brother Gaia. Yeah, but I'm gonna actually just come in here for the last time. One Friday fights 118, and I'm just gonna say to you, bro, thank you very much for the expert analysis, and then just ask you to please just take us home, bro. I'm just gonna sit backstage. I'll scroll through for you, but yeah, just take us home for this, bro.
Let's go. Jin Tao beating Hiroki Naruo, which was a fight where Jin Tao was actually a massive underdog, and I also thought Hiroki was going to beat him and get him knocked out. Having 4 KOs in a row, I thought Hiroki was going to go and get his 5th one, but he basically depleted his gas tank within the first round, and he thought the fight was done. He knocked Jin Tao down. He didn't knock him down, or did he get a knockdown? No, he didn't. I don't remember now, but he was basically putting him in that first round, but looked super tired. He couldn't get the finish, and he looked super tired. And then basically, when the round in the Jin Tao, he pumped his fists together and he was like, all right, let's go. I think I got this dude out. I think I can take him out of here. And that's what he did. He basically weaponized his cardio, and you see Hiroki was tired, and he went to the body and got the KO finish, and basically stunned the crowd, the world, Japan, and even myself, and he got himself a very good win. I don't know if he got the bonus, but he beat a very, very good high caliber opponent in Hiroki. So well done to Jin Tao for that one. Let's keep it moving. We saw Max Holloway take on Kiyoshi Shiba, and another great fight. Kiyoshi Shiba comes from Rise, I think, fight for Kiyoshi Shiba, and he should be contacted. That was a performance. If there's anyone that can maybe give a crack at JDB or Prajan Chai, Kiyoshi Shiba is the dude, from my opinion, in kickboxing. Let's go. Because he put on a great performance. He was masterful. The deep kicks to the sternum, the calf kicks. He had more. How do you say this dude? I'm going to call him Max Holloway because I can't say his surname. Kiyoshi had Holloway all kinds of trouble in that first round, and he had no way going forward. When they got to the second round, you could see it was basically a matter of time before he was going to lose the fight. And Shiba got his knockout, and he's one to watch. I hope that one championship does a smart thing here and can give him a contract, because that could be a fighter that they could maybe try. Right, let's keep it moving. Carlos Alvarez took on Nashin Sat rematch. How did this fight end against TKO? What was it? Was it body shots? My brain's a bit fried here because there's a lot of fights that we get through this weekend. That's minus a UFC card as well. Just because Alvarez looked like to be the bigger fighter coming to the fight, because I think he knew that he had to be a bit stronger after in this one, he went heavily wrestling, grappling in this fight, and it ultimately didn't work out in his favor because he couldn't get the submission, he couldn't get the ground and pound positions, and he tired out, and then it allowed Nashin Shah to get into that second round and beat him up for that second round to get the TKO finish, and in my opinion, closes the chapter on the rivalry. Carlos Alvarez, I'm just going to call it, looked like he was choosing. He looked like he put on too much muscle and tied out too early by being too aggressive, and it lost in the fight. He had to be a little bit more poised, he had to be a bit more jab heavy, be a bit more patient, not a rush to win the fight so early. Maybe he could have gotten a better result, maybe take it to the third round, but because he went so hard in the first round, just like Max Holloway, him, the writing was on the wall. He was going to lose the fight. He had no stamina left. And for Nassim Shah, well done, top fighter. I think that he made weight. They both made weight. I think Jeremy Pacatiw as his next fight. That would be a fun one. Carlos Alvarez, I don't know what he needs to maybe rethink his fight style. Maybe rethink everything actually, because you can't depend so much on just being such a muscle-bound athlete. Because will beat him up every time. That's my opinion of an on. And then the opening bout was actually quite entertaining. We watched it together. Jean Menard, I told a very young Filipino, very vibrant, fast-paced, aggressive. He took on someone that was just more experienced. Gabriel Leonetti was a lot more experienced, and he was patient, and he was stronger, and he utilized the game plan really well by being boxing heavy. He attacked the curve a lot, which forced Jean into the corner. And Jean had to basically take a beating. I think he was knocked down at the first round, if I'm not mistaken. Came back a little bit, but didn't really do enough to beat Gabriel. He was throwing an overhand right. It was a bit too, I don't know. He basically left his guard. He threw his guard in every single time, and he was there to be countered with the left. And Gabriel was just seeing it every single time. And then basically the second round took him down, got the submission. Very good win. And fun fight though. Fun fighters be entering the strawweight MMA division. So I'm keen to see what they look like going forward.
Give thanks, Brother Gaia. And how about your post-fight rating for this card, please, sir?
Now, I can't remember what my pre-fight rating was. But there was a lot of good fights. Even though there was a lot of unanimous decisions, they were still super entertaining. Pardon me. So I'm going to give it a little bit more than the fight night card. I'm going to give it an 8. I'm really impressed with the Riftin Ben Wang. Very impressed with Kyle Karat. Very, what's this dude's name? Zhang Jintao and Gabriel Leonetti. I thought they were really stand-up performances on the night for me. So yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8.
Give thanks, Brother Guy. Unfortunately, I can't weigh in here. I didn't see too much of the card, but we'll take your word for it, BG. And looking forward to the next one, which we will again be live for this weekend, Friday at 2:30 p.m. Final words here before we wrap up and get some dinner.
Just many thanks to everybody that's tuned in and just giving us the support. Hopefully next time we do this one, we can get some more engagement. We have to obviously think about how we're going to do it in terms of timing. Might be the reason why we're not getting so much views, so much comments. But other than that, dude, the signs are looking good, numbers are looking good, the support is looking great, and the cards are just getting, I would say getting better, but we are getting some great fights as we progress to the final part of the year 2025. So yeah, let's keep doing what we're doing and level up. Level up. Let's go. Okay, give thanks then, PG. Thank you for your time again today. Your expert analysis is always appreciated here at Fighting with Friends. Speaking of appreciated, we appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen, especially the 3 of you in the stream right now. So we encourage you to please drop a like on stream. Got more content coming, so you can watch podcasts. Joe Rogan. But yeah, BG, that is our weekend recap at its end. How about you close us out, and I'll just get the graphics on cue so long. Let's do that. So yeah, like I said, much love to everybody. Stay tuned for more content coming out this week. We got Friday fights, like I already mentioned. We're gonna do a UFC fight night preview as well, and then we're gonna do a live for that fight. Friday fight squad as usual as a time slot. So stay tuned for that one. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, from myself, from Eddie, from the guys from Fighting with Friends, Jedi, Babu, everybody, love for the love. See you in the next one. Have a good week. Cheers. We sign out right now.
Cheers, everybody.